Is Guild Wars 2 worth it? Should you play it in 2023? With their latest expansion, End of Dragons, winning the Player's Choice Awards for Best MMORPG of 2022 over on mmorpg.com, my first answer would be yes, of course. But let's dive a bit deeper into this. What can you expect from Guild Wars 2? And what are the pros and cons? I divided this video up into different chapters, so if you're looking for a particular subject on Guild Wars 2, the timeline in this video should help you out. So let's head right into the video. Every good MMORPG needs a good storyline, and a good way to deliver the storyline. Guild Wars 2 manages to do this very well. From the moment you start your character, you are thrust into your personal storyline. This is what is happening in the world of Tyria and how your character will develop. More and more chapters of this personal story will open up while you are leveling, and in between these story chapters, the story around the world continues to build onto what has transpired. This personal storyline is the red line throughout the entire game, even after hitting max level and into the next expansions. Guild Wars 2 uses conversational cutscenes between the different parties to highlight important conversations, which I've always thought had a unique and artistic touch. In the later stages of the game, however, they started relying more on phasing of the NPCs according to where you were in the storyline, which really draws you into the world. Outside of your personal story instance, there are plenty of side stories to follow, and NPCs talk to each other depending on what is happening to you or around them, which adds to the immersion. Now when it comes to a good storyline, the opinions are quite divided. I think the overall storyline of Guild Wars 2 is pretty good. Fighting off the dragons, the story of the gods and where they went, finding out how magic is woven into the very fabric of Tyria, and how it may even prove to be its downfall. I've always enjoyed that. Now around 2019, however, it was kind of feeling like ArenaNet was ready to pull the plug, and this translates into the quality of the story. There's an entire living world season that I hardly paid any attention to, as ancient forces were simply vanquished in a Dragon Ball Z kind of power metal, in which you had no real say in. Then with End of Dragons came some more mixed feelings about the storyline. Kanta is absolutely lovely and has some good side storylines, though I kind of feel like they felt the need to push the dragons aside and wanted to start something new, which was kind of weird as this made all of our previous efforts feel kind of in vain. As well as some of the writing feeling like the classical TV villain plotlines. I only hope they can pull it off in the end and convince those of us who love some good lore of our new adversaries. In between all of this story talk, you'll also have to do some fighting, of course, and Guild Wars 2 has an amazing combat system. Combat in Guild Wars 2 hasn't really changed since 2012, but it doesn't have to. The combat feels fresh, alive, and keeps you on your toes. Unlike a lot of other MMOs where you just run up to a mob and click skills until it dies, Guild Wars 2 has you dodge attacks, combine your spells with your allies, and telegraph your skills to have a maximum amount of impact. The combat system isn't flawless, however. All of these fancy and flashy spells take their toll on your system when doing world bosses or huge events. This can have the average gamer choosing between watching a slideshow of how a boss gets killed, or have their settings be turned down so that they can actually move their character out of AoEs. Another minor point with combat in Guild Wars 2 is the amount of buffs and status effects. There are so many to learn, and for new players or even casual players, this can get overwhelming. I personally think that ArenaNet should try and tone this down to make it a bit simpler. On to one of my favorite parts of Guild Wars 2, the leveling. I know, leveling is something most people only do once, and even then they just trudge themselves through it to get to the end level. But Guild Wars 2 has so many different stories, different maps, events, and honestly, just ways to level. It's just fun. In fact, I recently started a whole new character on a new account to experience the leveling again without my account bonuses. Unlike other MMOs, Guild Wars 2 doesn't have you run to a quest giver, pick up a quest to talk to another NPC that is standing literally 3 meters away, only to then go back to the first one to confirm that you've spoken to the second NPC. No, in Guild Wars 2 you'll be out adventuring and happen across these quest areas. These hearts right here. And you can choose to help out with whatever needs doing. Tend to a farm, kill bandits, get rid of some encroaching wildlife. There is so much variety. And not just that, but while out and about, the living world may throw an event at you. While helping a farmer tend to their farm, it may get attacked by bandits, and stopping these can give you extra experience. Or maybe you fail because the bandits overwhelmed you, while the next event may be to actually take back the farm from the bandits. Your actions impact the area around you, and may even open up new vendors for you. Besides quests and events, almost anything can give you experience. discover a new location, reach a vantage point, gather materials. And now with the Adventurer's Book, which was recently added, leveling up is easier and quicker than ever. Can you tell I like the leveling experience in Guild Wars 2? Because I do. If anything, I think more games should take a page from this book, to be honest. Now another thing I really like about Guild Wars 2 is how casual friendly it is. For someone like me that works full-time, has a household to manage, friendships to maintain, and frankly other games to play, this is ideal. You can literally take a break for a couple of months, come back, and still be relevant. It does this through its horizontal endgame. Whereas in other games you grind the max level, get the best gear possible, and be relevant for a couple of weeks before a new update drops and your epic or legendary gear that you spent months farming becomes completely irrelevant, Guild Wars 2 doesn't do this. If you got the best gear, you got the best gear. New updates mostly bring with them new storylines, new achievements, new cosmetics, new collections, but your gear just stays relevant. Don't get me wrong, Guild Wars 2 has its raids, dungeons, PvP, world versus world, plenty to do if you're the more competitive sort. But if you're not, and you want an MMO that allows you to take a break when you want, or when it's needed, Guild Wars 2 is simply perfect. The achievements will be there, the collections will be there, your gear will still be good, you can pick up right where you left off without the fear of missing out. These collections tie in neatly with the amount of customization for your character. The character creator is rather basic and would honestly need some updating in my opinion. I also think ArenaNet should let their creative personnel have a bit more freedom when it comes to designing hairstyles, for example. We are a bit limited on that. You do, however, have a bunch of style choices you can go with your color scheme and just overall look. You want to go for a more realistic, rustic kind of fantasy character? Guild Wars 2 has got you covered. Are you into techie stuff and is steampunk more your thing? Guild Wars 2 has got you covered. Or are you the type of person that wants to blind everyone with over-the-top, extremely flashy colors and effects? Guild Wars 2 has got you covered. From your outfit to your mounts, you can make it the style you want. Speaking of mounts, the Path of Fire expansion also opened up an entirely new section of collections, achieved by their mastery points. You guessed it, the mounts. Now the mounts in Guild Wars 2 are absolutely phenomenal, and more games should start thinking this way about them. In fact, more games are starting to think this way, as it seems World of Warcraft has taken some inspiration for their dragon riding from Guild Wars 2. The mounts you earn in Guild Wars 2 aren't just there to help you run a bit faster, as they have been in MMOs in the past. Every mount you unlock has their own utility right from the start, and the more mastery points you put into it, the better their utility becomes. The Raptor, for example, runs fast and can leap greater distances. Their one skill also has a jump forward and tail sweep enemies before you dismount and can follow up with your own attacks. The Springer, on the other hand, can jump really high to get onto higher obstacles, or use its downward momentum to body slam enemies below. Then there's the Skimmer for over water and underwater travel, the Jackal, the Roller Beetle, Griffin, Skyscale, and most recently, the two-man Siege Turtle mount. Collecting these mounts and customizing them is super fun, and as said, one of the best mount systems out there. But you do have to get the Path of Fire expansion. Now, as said before and as expected from MMOs, there are some PvP experiences. While there aren't servers dedicated to PvP, ArenaNet still sees PvP combat quite grand in their world versus world mode. 3 worlds battling it out for control of the territory in massive epic battles. Regardless of how you feel about world versus world, if you ever want to make a legendary, you will have to do a couple of hours. Now, if you like PvP but you aren't a fan of the large-scale world versus world, you may want to hop into Battlegrounds. These can be done rated and unrated, and from as early as level 2 even. Personally, I found PvP in Guild Wars 2 always to be immensely unbalanced. For the unprepared, chances are you run in and be dead before you know what's going on. If you're looking to get into PvP, I highly recommend looking up some viable builds and gear stats, as your PvE gear will hardly save you. Okay, you've sat through so far and you're thinking, well, this sounds good and all, but how much does it cost? Well, it's free. Sorta. Guild Wars 2, the base game, is free to play. It can be downloaded through the ArenaNet website or Steam. Install, launch, and play. The base game will let you level to max level, do achievements and collections, and get you through the first major storyline, which already gives you hours and hours of good content. After this, it's easy to know if you want to get the expansions, yes or no. Arena.net often has their expansions on sale as well, or in a bundle pack, which are definitely worth picking up if you enjoyed the base game. Without expansions, you won't be able to play the Revenant class, won't get your own mounts or gliding, or do raids either. Having no subscription cost also means that Guild Wars 2 has to get their money in other manners. The Black Lion Trading Post offers quality of life and cosmetic options for almost anything. These can be bought with gems. These gems can be bought with real money. In other words, it's a cash shop. Here's why I'm a fan of their system though. If you are a paid account, you can actually trade in gold for gems. The rates are a bit steep, but if you farm gold, you can then exchange that into gems and buy stuff without having to spend any real money. The conversion rates from money to gems are also very clear, which makes it less predatory than many other games with their hundreds of different currencies for their cash shop. I'm looking at you, Genshin Impact. With this model, it's easier to keep track of how much money you're actually spending. Now, I wouldn't say that the items on the cash shop give you a game-breaking head start or make you stronger than anyone else, but it can be quite disheartening to work months towards a legendary weapon and then see a new item appear on the cash shop which looks 10 times cooler. And also, extra bank slots are kind of a necessity if we're being completely honest. A final point of critique I feel like I have to share, speaking as a Guild Wars 2 veteran, and while we're on the subject of currencies, is the amount of different map currencies. Guild Wars 2 has been around for over 10 years now, and most of the endgame maps come with their own unique currency. You have to spend a considerable amount of time in each of the maps to get a feel for how you can grind these currencies and which rewards you can get, which are worth it. This can be quite daunting for new players. Do I have an immediate solution to this? No, not exactly. But that doesn't stop me from pointing out that this is a system which could use some improving. To wrap it up, let's go over the pros and cons of Guild Wars 2 together. Guild Wars 2's leveling is some of the best I've had in any video game. Going out questing and adventuring is just fun, and you feel like your decisions and help actually matters. Couple that with the numerous way of getting experience like doing jumping puzzles or finding those vistas up high, you may find yourself actually wanting to complete entire maps before moving on to the next one. The combat in Guild Wars 2 feels very active. Lining up your skills, rolling out of enemy attacks and helping your fellow adventurers in the heat of battle keeps you on your toes and is a breath of fresh air when compared to the standstill and click skills other games use. And last but not least, the end game in Guild Wars 2 is perfect for people that need to take breaks from a game every now and then. The horizontal progression does away with fear of missing out, so you're free to quit and pick it back up whenever without feeling completely irrelevant. Now on to the cons. While I do like Guild Wars 2 overarching storyline and it is delivered quite well, Arena.net has dropped the ball too many times for me. If you're a regular player, you probably won't mind it too much, but if you're like me and you like to immerse yourself into the story, this might leave a sour aftertaste in your mouth. Not to mention some of the living world only being available if you buy them with gems, even if you've bought the game and expansions. While I put combat in my pros list due to it being active and fun, the amount of buffs and debuffs to follow can be confusing for new or casual players. Also, the amount of flashy effects and AoEs can be a strain on more casual PCs. And lastly, the amount of endgame map currencies can be quite confusing. It may be tempting to reach max level and experience everything, but I would suggest taking it easy and really learn where you earn what and what you can buy with it. If you're interested in starting Guild Wars 2, make sure to check out my starter guide. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if I missed anything, feel free to let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe the video if you enjoyed it. For now though, happy adventuring and take care my friends. Bye bye.